In the year 2145, Earth was a busy place. People lived in tall buildings and flew in flying cars. The sky was bright with the lights of cities. President John Carter was in charge. He worked hard to keep everyone safe. But one day everything changed. A large spaceship came from the dark of space. It was unlike anything people had seen before. The spaceship was huge and had strange, shining lights. It belonged to a race called the Zarkons. Were tall and strong, with green skin and big eyes. They looked down on humans and thought they were weak. The Zarkons wanted to take over Earth and make it their own. As the Zarkons landed, they sent out small ships. These ships flew around and looked for places to attack. The Zarkons thought it would be easy to conquer Earth. They believed humans would run away in fear. But they did not know how brave humans could be. In a secret place underground, a group of humans gathered. Captain Lisa Grant stood at the front. She was a strong leader with short brown hair and sharp blue eyes. Lisa had fought in many battles and knew how to rally her team. She looked at her friends and allies, who were scared but determined. "Listen up," Lisa said. "The Zarkons think we are weak. They do not know us. We are going to show them what we can do. We fight for our homes, for our families, and for Earth. We will not let them take our planet." The room filled with a mix of fear and courage. People looked at each other, knowing they had to act. Among them was Alex Rivera, a clever engineer with a talent for building things. He had short hair and always wore glasses. He stepped forward and said, "We can use their technology against them. I saw their ships. They have things we can use." Maya Johnson, a quick thinker and a skilled fighter, nodded in agreement. She had long black hair and a determined look on her face. "We need to work together. Let's figure out how to fight back. We can create a plan." The team began to work hard. They studied the Zarkon technology. Alex used his skills to build new weapons from the pieces they found. The humans made plans to attack, while the Zarkons were still getting ready. They trained every day, practicing their moves and learning how to fight as one unit. As the days passed, the Zarkons grew more confident. They thought the humans would be easy to defeat. They did not believe the small creatures below them could fight back. They watched from their ships, laughing at the humans. But Lisa and her team were not afraid. They were ready to show their strength. One day, while practicing, Lisa gathered everyone around. "We need to be smart. Zarkons have big ships, but we have our courage. We'll fight them in the city where they land. We will surprise them. They will not see us coming." The team cheered. They understood the plan. They would hide in the buildings and wait for the right moment. When the Zarkons came down, they would strike. The humans felt stronger together. They knew they had a chance to save their world. As the sun set, the humans prepared for the coming battle. They painted their faces and wore dark clothing to blend into the night. They felt a mix of fear and excitement. Each person thought about their family and friends. They wanted to protect them. Meanwhile, the Zarkons were busy setting up their base. They did not see the humans preparing. The Zarkons were sure they would win. They boasted about their power and laughed at the tiny creatures below. They did not understand the fire burning in the hearts of humans. Finally, the day of the battle arrived. Humans were ready. They gathered in their hidden spots, waiting for the signal. Lisa and her team were anxious but focused. They listened carefully for the sound of the Zarkon ships approaching. The air was filled with tension. Suddenly, the rumble of engines filled the sky. The Zarkon ships flew close to the ground, their lights shining bright. The humans held their breath, knowing this was the moment they had been waiting for. As the ships landed, the Zarkon stepped out. Towering over the city, the humans watched as the Zarkons laughed and celebrated their arrival. They thought they had won, but Lisa knew this was their chance. She raised her hand and signaled the team to get ready. The humans had worked too hard to let this moment slip away. With a loud shout, Lisa led the attack. The humans burst from their hiding places, surprising the Zarkons. The aliens looked confused, their faces changing from laughter to shock. The humans fought with all their might, using their new weapons and their skills. Alex's inventions worked. Wonders. Explosions filled the air as the humans fought bravely. Maya moved quickly, leading groups to flank the Zarkons. The humans showed strength and teamwork. They fought for their homes, and their courage surprised the Zarkons. As the battle raged on, the Zarkons gasped in fear. They had never seen such bravery from humans. The aliens expected to crush them easily, but now they realized they were in a fight for their lives. Fear spread among the Zarkons as they struggled to keep up with the determined humans. The humans pressed on, refusing to back down. Lisa fought at the front, leading her team with strength and courage. They pushed forward, showing the Zarkons that they would not give up their planet without a fight. The humans fought not just for themselves, but for everyone they loved. As the sun began to rise, the battle continued. The Zarkons were not prepared for the fierce resistance they faced. They began to retreat, realizing they had underestimated the power of humanity. The humans felt a surge of hope they could win this fight. In that moment, the humans knew they were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for their future. The Zarkons gasped in fear, watching the humans rise against them. The battle was far from over, but the humans had shown their strength. They would not back down. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, the humans stood tall and proud. They had fought with everything they had, and now they knew they could win. The Zarkons, once confident in their power, were filled with doubt. They had never expected this from the small creatures they had come to conquer. The fight for Earth was just beginning, but for the first time the humans felt they had the upper hand. In the aftermath of the battle, the humans were filled with hope. They had faced the Zarkons and shown their strength. However, they knew this was just the beginning. The Zarkons would not give up easily. They would return with more power and anger in their hidden base. Lisa Grant gathered her team. Everyone was tired but excited. They had fought hard, and many had shown great bravery. Lisa looked at her friends, knowing they had to prepare for the next fight. "We need to plan our next move," Lisa said. "The Zarkons will come back. They will want revenge. We cannot let them take our planet. We must be ready." Alex Rivera was busy working on new weapons. He was surrounded by tools and parts he had collected from the battle. With each piece, he was building something stronger. He looked up at Lisa and said, "I can create better weapons. We can use their technology against them. I just need more time." Maya Johnson stood beside him, looking over his shoulder. "We should also train more. We need to be faster and smarter in our next attack. The Zarkons are strong, but we can outsmart them." Lisa nodded in agreement. "We need to work together. We have to learn from our first battle, need to know their weaknesses. Then we can strike at the right moment." The team agreed to spend the next few days preparing. They trained hard every morning and worked on their new weapons in the afternoon. Lisa led the training sessions, teaching them how to fight as a team. They practiced different moves and learned how to communicate during battle. As they trained, the humans grew closer. They shared stories about their families and why they were fighting. Each person had a reason for being there. Some were fighting for their children, while others were fighting for their friends. This bond made them stronger. Meanwhile, the Zarkons were regrouping. They had been shocked by the humans' bravery and skill. Their leader, Commander Verax, was furious. He could not believe that a small group of humans had managed to push them back. He gathered the Zarkon forces to discuss their next steps. "We underestimated the humans," Verax said, his voice deep and commanding. "They are not as weak as we thought. They fought back with courage. We must prepare for a stronger attack. We will destroy them this time." The Zarkons worked on new strategies. They built bigger weapons and stronger ships. They were determined to crush the humans once and for all. Verax wanted to show the Zarkons that they could not be defeated back. On Earth, the humans were busy preparing. One night, as the team gathered around a small fire, Lisa spoke to them. "We have fought and won a battle, but the war is not over. We need to stay strong and focused. The Zarkons will come back with everything they have. We must be ready."
Everyone
nodded, understanding the seriousness of the situation. They shared their fears and hopes, lifting each other's spirits. They knew they were fighting for their home and that they had each other's backs. As days turned into weeks, the humans continued to train. They grew stronger and more skilled. Alex created new weapons that could shoot faster and hit harder. Maya developed new tactics that would help them move quickly during the battle. One day, while training, they heard a loud noise in the sky. They looked up to see Zarkon ships approaching. The humans quickly gathered their weapons and took cover. Lisa's heart raced as she realized the Zarkons were coming back sooner than they expected. "We need to be ready," she shouted. "Stay calm and follow my lead. We will show them we are not afraid." The humans hid in the buildings, waiting for the Zarkons to land. Lisa signaled for everyone to be quiet. The air was thick with tension as the Zarkon ships touched down. The large ships rumbled as they landed, and the humans held their breath, ready for whatever came next. Once the Zarkons stepped out of their ships, they looked around with sneers on their faces. They were confident and believed victory was theirs. Vrak stepped forward, shouting to his troops, "These humans think they can win. They do not understand our power. We will crush them." But the humans were ready. Lisa gave the signal, and they sprang into action. They charged out from their hiding spots, attacking the Zarkons with everything they had. The surprise attack caught the Zarkons off guard. Alex's new weapons worked perfectly. The Zarkons were stunned as the humans fired at them from all angles. Maya led a group of fighters to flank the enemy, moving swiftly and silently. As the humans worked together, just as they had practiced. The battle was fierce. The Zarkons fought back with all their might, but the humans were prepared. They had learned from their previous encounter and used their knowledge to their advantage. They fought with courage, refusing to back down. As the fight continued, the Zarkons began to realize they were facing a different kind of enemy. The humans were not the weak creatures they had thought. They were strong and determined, willing to fight for their home. Vrax shouted in anger, "How is this possible? We will not lose to these creatures." The humans pressed on, fighting harder than ever. They felt the strength of their unity. Every punch, every shot brought them closer to victory. Lisa fought at the front, leading her team with bravery. The Zarkons began to falter, and fear crept into their ranks. The battle raged on, but the humans refused to give up. They pushed forward, showing the Zarkons that they would not be defeated. As the sun began to set, the tide of the battle shifted. The Zarkons, feeling overwhelmed, began to retreat. Lisa looked around at her team, seeing the determination in their eyes. They had fought hard, and now they could see victory within reach. The Zarkons were gasping in fear, realizing they were losing the fight. The humans raised their heads high, knowing they had proven their strength. As the last of the Zarkon forces fled, the humans cheered. They had shown courage and unity, fighting for their planet. They were no longer just a small group hiding in the shadows. They were warriors, ready to protect their home against any threat. The battle had been won, but the war was not over. The humans knew they had to stay alert. The Zarkons would return, but they were ready. They had learned that together they were strong. With each fight, they grew closer and more determined to protect their world. The humans stood tall, proud of what they had achieved. They knew the Zarkons would not forget this day. They had fought with everything they had, and it had made all the difference. The bond between them had grown stronger, and they were ready for whatever came next. The humans celebrated their victory, but they knew the fight was not over. The Zarkons would not give up easily. In their hidden base, Lisa Grant gathered her team once again. They were tired but proud. They'd faced the Zarkons and won, but they understood that the aliens would return with a stronger force. "Today, we proved that we can fight back," Lisa said, looking at her team. "But we must be ready for their next attack. We'll learn from their mistakes. We cannot let our guard down." Alex Rivera was busy working on new weapons, making them even more powerful. He was determined to give the humans every chance to win. Maya Johnson stood beside him, looking over the plans. "We need to find a way to take out their command ship," she said. "If we can disrupt their leadership, we can make it harder for them to fight back." "Good idea," Lisa replied. "If we can take out their leader, the rest will fall apart. We need a plan to get close enough to their command ship." As they discussed their strategy, They heard a loud noise outside. They rushed to the surface. To see what was happening, the sky was filled with Zarkon ships, coming in low and fast. The humans quickly ran for cover, knowing they had little time to prepare. The Zarkons had returned, and they were angry. Commander Vrax had come back with more ships and more soldiers. He was determined to crush the humans this time. As the Zarkons landed, Vrax shouted orders to his troops. "This time, we will not fail. We will show them the power of the Zarkon Empire." The Zarkons moved quickly, setting up their equipment and preparing for battle. They were confident that they would succeed this time. They had learned from their previous defeat and planned to use their numbers to overwhelm the humans. Lisa and her team watched from their hiding spots. They could see the Zarkons moving in. "We need to act quickly," Lisa said. "If we wait too long, they will take control of the area. We'll have to disrupt their plans." The humans gathered their weapons and got ready for the fight. They knew they had to act fast. Alex had built new devices that would help them disable the Zarkon ships. If they could take out the command ship, it would give them a better chance to win. "We will create a diversion," Maya suggested. "While the Zarkons are distracted, we can sneak into their command ship and take it down." Lisa nodded. "That's the plan. We need to be quick and silent. If we can get inside, we can do a lot of damage." With their plan in place, the humans moved into position. They watched as the Zarkons set up their base. The Zarkons were busy and did not notice the humans sneaking around. The humans moved quietly through the shadows, ready to strike. Once they were in place, Lisa signaled for the attack. The humans charged forward, creating chaos among the Zarkon troops. The aliens were shocked by the sudden assault. The humans fought bravely, using their new weapons to take down the Zarkon soldiers. Amid the chaos, Alex and Maya made their way toward the command ship. They knew they had to get inside quickly before the Zarkons regrouped. They reached the entrance and found it guarded by 2 Zarkon soldiers. Without hesitation, they attacked, taking the guards by surprise. A brief but fierce fight ensued, and soon the guards were down. Once inside the command ship, Alex and Maya were amazed by what they saw. The ship was filled with strange technology and screens showing maps of Earth. "This is incredible," Alex said, his eyes wide with wonder. "If we can access their systems, we can learn more about their plans." Maya nodded, focusing on the task at hand. "We need to find their control center. We can disable their communication. They won't be able to coordinate their attack." Moved through the ship, avoiding Zarkon soldiers and using their training to stay silent. Finally, they reached the control center. The room was filled with buttons and screens. In the center stood a large console. Alex quickly got to work, using his knowledge of technology to hack into the system. "I can disable their communications," he said, typing rapidly.
Nice.
"We do this, they won't be able to call for reinforcements." Maya kept watch, ready to alert him if anyone came. "Hurry," she urged. "We need to be quick. The longer we stay here, the more danger we are in." After a few tense moments, Alex finally smiled. "I did it. Their communications are down. Now they can't talk to each other." Just then, alarms began to sound throughout the ship. The Zarkons had noticed something was wrong. "We need to get out of here," Maya shouted. They turned to leave, but as they did, a group of Zarkon soldiers rushed into the room. The humans realized they were trapped. The Zarkons shouted in their alien language, and the soldiers raised their weapons. "Stay back," Lisa shouted as she and her team burst into the control center. They had followed Alex and Maya, ready to help. They engaged in a fierce battle. Fighting off the Zarkon soldiers, Lisa fought fiercely, leading her team with courage. "We cannot let them take us," she shouted, pushing forward. The humans fought side by side, using their skills and teamwork to fend off the Zarkon attackers. With the control center in chaos, Alex and Maya helped their team push back the Zarkons. They worked together, moving as one unit. The humans were determined to escape. After a fierce fight, they managed to push the Zarkons back. "Let's go. We need to leave now," Lisa yelled as they made their way back toward the exit. They ran through the ship dodging Zarkon soldiers and obstacles as they reached the exit. They saw Zarkon ships outside, gathering for a counterattack. The humans were outnumbered, but they had already proven their strength. They would not back down. "Isili, get to the vehicles," Lisa commanded. The team rushed outside, jumping into their waiting crafts. They quickly took off, flying away from the command ship as Zarkon lasers shot past them. Once they were safely away, the humans cheered. They had faced the Zarkons again and survived. They had destroyed the command ship's communication, giving them a better chance for the next battle. As they flew back to their base, Lisa looked at her team with pride. "We did it," showed the Zarkons that we will not be defeated. The humans had faced danger and fought bravely. They had proven their strength against the Zarkons once again. But they knew the war was not over. The Zarkons would continue to come back, and the humans needed to stay ready. With each battle, the team grew stronger, as they learned from their experiences and continued to prepare for the next fight. They were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for their home and their future. The humans were determined to protect their planet no matter the cost. They had faced the Zarkons, and they would face them again. Together, they would stand strong against any threat. The humans returned to their base, filled with excitement and relief after their narrow escape. They had achieved something important. They had disrupted the Zarkon command ship and made it harder for the aliens to attack. But they knew the Zarkons would not give up easily. The aliens would come back, and the humans needed to be ready. In the days that followed, Lisa Grant and her team worked hard to prepare for the next fight. They met every day to discuss strategies and train. Each member of the team had a role to play. They practiced using their new weapons and worked on their teamwork. Alex Rivera focused on improving the weapons he had created. He found new materials and tested different designs, wanted to build weapons that could take down the Zarkons faster. Maya Johnson helped him, using her quick thinking to come up with ideas. Together, they worked late into the night, determined to make their weapons stronger. One evening, as they were finishing a long day of training, Lisa gathered everyone around. "We have shown the Zarkons that we can fight back," she said. "But we need to think about our next move. They will come at us with more force. We need to be smarter this time." The team nodded, understanding the seriousness of the situation. They had already faced the Zarkons twice, and both times they had fought bravely. But the aliens were still out there, ready to attack again. They needed a plan that would give them the upper hand. Maya spoke up. "What if we set a trap? Pretend to be weak and lure them into a place where we can surprise them. If we can catch them off guard, we might be able to take out more of their forces." "That's a great idea," Lisa replied. "We can use the abandoned factory near the edge of the city. It'll be a perfect place for an ambush. We can hide and wait for them to come. Once they are inside, we can attack." The team started to plan their ambush. They would create a diversion to make the Zarkons believe they had the upper hand. Alex would set up explosives to block their escape route, and the rest of the team would hide inside the factory as they prepared. The humans felt a mix of fear and excitement. They were nervous about facing the Zarkons again, but they also felt strong together. They had fought hard and had learned from their battles. They were ready to show the Zarkons that they would not back down. Days passed, and the humans completed their preparations. On the day of the ambush, they moved quietly to the factory. The sun was setting, and the sky was painted with orange and pink hues. It was time to put their plan into action. They set up their positions inside the factory, hiding behind crates and machinery. Lisa looked at her team, feeling proud of their bravery. "Stay calm and wait for my signal," she instructed. "We will show them what we can do." As night fell, the humans waited in silence. They could hear the distant sound of Zarkon ships approaching. The air was thick with tension. Each heartbeat felt loud in their ears as they prepared for the fight. Suddenly, the Zarkon ships landed outside the factory. The humans could see the aliens disembarking, looking confident. They believed they were in control. Lisa signaled to her team, and everyone held their breath, ready for the moment to strike. As the Zarkons entered the factory, the humans sprang into action. Lisa shouted, and they attacked with all their strength. The Zarkons were caught off guard and stumbled back in surprise. The humans used the element of surprise to their advantage. Alex had set the explosives at the exits. As the first Zarkons fell, he activated the traps. The blasts went off, blocking the Zarkons from escaping. Panic spread among the alien ranks as they realized they were trapped. The humans fought with everything they had, moved quickly, working together as a team. I led a group to flank the Zarkons, while Lisa directed the main attack. The humans fought fiercely, showing their courage and determination as the battle raged on. The Zarkons began to realize they were in serious trouble. They had underestimated the humans once again. Vroxa, the Zarkon commander, shouted orders, trying to regain control. But the humans were too strong, too united. The humans pressed forward, taking down Zarkon after Zarkon. The factory echoed with the sounds of battle, the clashing of weapons and the shouts of soldiers. The humans felt a surge of confidence as they fought. They were no longer the scared creatures hiding in the shadows. They were warriors. In the heat of the battle, Lisa spotted Vrax trying to rally his troops. She knew that if they could take out the commander, it would break the Zarkon's spirit. Gathering her strength, she pushed through the chaos. Determined to reach him, as Lisa fought her way through, she felt a sense of purpose. She was fighting for her home, for her team, and for everyone she loved. She could see Vrax ahead and she knew she had to act fast. "Get back," Vrax shouted, raising his weapon. Lisa was quicker. She launched herself forward, catching him by surprise. They struggled, fighting fiercely. Lisa was fueled by her determination, refusing to let the Zarkons win. Finally, with one swift move, she knocked Vrax to the ground. The Zarkon commander gasped in shock as Lisa stood over him. "It's over," she said, breathing heavily. "You will not take our planet." With Vrax defeated, the remaining Zarkons began to lose hope. The humans took advantage of the moment, pressing their attack. The Zarkons, once so confident, started to retreat. They realized they could not win this battle. The humans cheered as they pushed the Zarkons back. They had shown their strength and courage, defeating the aliens once again. As the last of the Zarkons fled, the humans stood tall, proud of what they had achieved. Lisa looked around at her team, seeing the joy and relief on their faces. They had fought hard and won. They had proven that they were not to be underestimated. With each battle, they grew stronger and more united. As they left the factory, the humans celebrated their victory. They had taken a significant step in the fight against the Zarkons. They knew the war was not over, but they felt more confident than ever. They would continue to fight for their home and their future. The humans had faced danger and emerged victorious, but they had shown that they could stand strong against any threat. With their bond growing deeper, they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would face the Zarkons again, and they would be ready. The humans had proven their strength, and they would not back down. The fight for Earth was far from over, but they were determined to protect their home at any cost. The humans celebrated their victory after the battle in the factory. They had pushed back the Zarkons, and their spirits were high. Lisa Grant stood with her team, feeling proud of what they had accomplished. They had shown courage and strength, proving that they could defend their home. As they gathered in their base, the team shared stories of their bravery during the fight. Each member had played a crucial role, and they felt a strong bond growing between them. Now they knew that they were not just fighting for themselves. They were fighting for everyone on Earth. "Today was a victory," Lisa said, looking at her friends. "But we must stay vigilant. The Zarkons will not give up. They will come back stronger than ever. We need to prepare for what is next." Alex Rivera nodded in agreement. "I have some ideas for new weapons. We can use the technology we took from the command ship to make them even better. We need to be ready for the next attack." Maya Johnson added, "We should also gather more information about the Zarkon forces. If we know their plans and movements, we can strike when they least expect it." The team discussed their next steps, determined to keep their advantage. They spent the following days working hard. Alex focused on building new weapons, while Maya and the others gathered intelligence about the Zarkons. They used drones to scout the area, looking for signs of the alien forces. One day, after a long day of training, the humans noticed something unusual. Zarkon ships were not flying over their base as they usually did. Instead, there was silence. This made everyone uneasy. Lisa gathered her team to discuss what this could mean. "Something is not right," she said, her brow furrowing. "The Zarkons are usually very active. Their silence could mean they are planning something big." Maya spoke up. "We should not let our guard down. They may be preparing for a large attack. We need to be ready for anything." The humans continued to train, preparing for the worst. They practiced their combat skills and worked on their new weapons. Lisa led the team, reminding them of their strength and unity. Days passed, and still, there was no sign of the Zarkons.
Oh.
The humans began to wonder if the aliens were regrouping or if they had given up. Lisa decided they should not wait any longer. They needed to take the fight to the Zarkons. "We cannot sit back and wait for them to strike," she said. "We need to take action. Let's find their main base and disrupt their plans. If we can strike before they are ready, we can gain the upper hand." Alex and Maya agreed. They planned a mission to find the Zarkon base. They gathered their team, going over the map and discussing the best route. They would need to be stealthy and quick to avoid detection. On the night of the mission, the humans moved quietly through the shadows. They crept through the dark, using the cover of night to their advantage. The air was cool and the stars shone. Above them, they felt a mix of excitement and fear as they approached the Zarkon territory. As they got closer, they could see the Zarkon ships shining in the distance. The base was heavily guarded, and the humans needed to be careful. Lisa led the way, signaling her team to stay low and quiet. They reached the perimeter of the base and found a way inside. The humans worked together, using their skills to bypass the security systems. Alex had studied the Zarkon technology and was able to disable the alarms. Once inside, they moved quickly, staying out of sight. The base was filled with Zarkon soldiers, but the humans were determined. They searched for the command center, where they could gather information about the Zarkon plans. After a tense search, they finally found the command center. It was a large room filled with screens and maps. The humans could see the Zarkons planning their next moves. "This is it," Maya whispered, her eyes wide with excitement. "We can find out what they are planning." Alex quickly moved to the main console, using his skills to access the information. As he worked, the team kept watch. For any Zarkon soldiers who might come in, suddenly, alarms began to blare throughout the base. The Zarkons had detected their presence. "We need to hurry," Lisa shouted. "Get the information, and then we need to leave." Alex typed frantically, trying to download the data before the Zarkons could reach them. "I'm almost there," he said, his heart racing. Maya looked at the door, fearing the worst. "They will be here any second. We need to prepare for a fight." Just as Alex finished downloading the information, the door burst open. A group of Zarkon soldiers rushed in, weapons raised. The humans were outnumbered, but they were ready to fight. "Get back," Lisa shouted, pushing forward to protect her. The humans sprang into action, launching their attack against the Zarkons. The battle was intense. The humans fought bravely, using their new weapons and skills. They worked as a team, moving quickly and efficiently. But the Zarkons were strong, and the fight was not easy. Alex and Maya fought side by side, taking down Zarkon soldiers one by one. Lisa led the main attack, pushing the Zarkons back. They knew they had to escape with the information they had gathered. As they battled, Lisa spotted an exit. "Over there," she shouted. "We can make a run for it." The team fought their way toward the exit, dodging Zarkon blasts and working together to stay safe. They were almost there when a Zarkon soldier blocked their path. "Stay back," Lisa yelled, charging forward.
Oh, yeah.
With a swift move, she knocked the soldier down, clearing the way for her team. Finally, they reached the exit and burst outside. The night air was cool against their skin as they ran toward their vehicles. They could hear the Zarkons shouting behind them, but they did not look back. Once they reached their vehicles, they jumped in and took off.
Oh.
The humans flew away from the base, feeling the rush of adrenaline. They had succeeded in their mission, gathering crucial information about the Zarkon's plans. As they flew back to their base, the team cheered. They had faced danger once again and had come out on top. They had shown that they could stand together against the Zarkons, and they were determined to keep fighting for their home. Back at their base, they gathered around to review the information they had collected. The data showed the Zarkons were planning a massive attack on Earth. The humans needed to act quickly to prepare for what was coming. "This is serious," Lisa said, looking at her team. "We have to warn everyone and prepare for the fight of our lives. The Zarkons will not stop until they take our planet. But together, we can stop them." The humans felt a renewed sense of determination. They had fought hard and had proven their strength. They knew that the Zarkons were a powerful enemy, but they were ready to face them. As they prepared for the final battle, the humans felt a bond stronger than ever. They were not just fighting for themselves. They were fighting for each other and for the future of Earth. Together, they would stand strong against any threat. The war was not over, but they knew they could win. The humans were ready to protect their home at any cost. They had faced fear and danger, and they would continue to fight until the very end. The fight for Earth was far from over, but they were determined to show the Zarkons that they would not be defeated, with courage in their hearts and strength in their souls. The humans prepared for the battle ahead. They were ready to defend their world, and they would not back down. Together, they would face the Zarkons and fight for their future.